It is the early summer of 1944, and both sides of the battle in Europe can feel the fight approaching a crucial moment. This moment would end up being June 6th of 1944, D-Day. And as the soldiers on the ground are preparing to storm the beaches, they would undoubtedly need cover from the air. This cover would come from the brave men of the 8th Air Force, men like Ed McNeff. But this was no easy task. Low-level ground support was always a high-risk endeavor, and as we will see in this video, it would involve intense combat, close calls, and tragic losses. As we turn the page in Ed McNeff's flight log to the month of May, we can see one interesting change. In the months of March and April, nearly every combat entry was high-level escort missions. This is typically the role that comes to mind when we think of the Mustang in Europe. But in May of 1944, these entries began to change. Now we can see dive bombing practice takes two of the slots on this page, an abrupt change in the middle of the war. Using valuable time of seasoned pilots to practice a new skill set, it almost feels as if the 8th Air Force is preparing for something big. This something was obviously Operation Overlord, the Allied invasion of France that would come to be called D-Day. And with this massive operation, the P-51 pilots of the 355th Fighter Group would be needed in a new role, that of low-level bombing and attack to disrupt supply lines and eliminate defenses for the ground troops. And while this might seem like an easy task, that could not be farther from the truth. Low-level bombing not only left these fighters more exposed to anti-aircraft and German fighters, but dive bombing was also not easy to master. It was a difficult attack method that involved calculation, timing, and feel for the tactic. Because of this, these practice sessions would be very important, but with only a couple of weeks until D-Day, they would not have nearly enough time to become experts in this method.
Bomber escort in aerial fighting is air-to-air, which means that while it is three-dimensional, you're looking at another moving target and you're trying to establish either what is referred to as a lead pursuit, lead lag, or curve so that you can aim your bullets and your trajectory to get in a position to fire. Different from that is, again, going back to dive bombing, while it sounds relatively simple, isn't as easy as you think. I learned this flying air tankers and dropping retardant on fires, and you have to consider the effects of wind, angle of descent, and one of the big things would be in a Mustang is simply being able to get that pitch angle, because if the pitch angle varies, then the release of the bomb will vary the trajectory of the bomb.